Okay, Taurus, I will pull a couple of cards to see who is in no contact with you and why. Okay, so I'll try to find out who it is. I'll get clarification to try to understand why they're not in touch with you. And I'll get you some advice from Spirit, okay? Okay, Spirit Guides, Universe and Angels. Who is in no contact with Taurus and why? Okay, someone that left a home. There's someone that left home, a home that you had together. It's really weird, like tonight I'm getting cards that I've never had from this deck, and I did the 12 zodiac signs. They were half-hour love readings, and I'm getting cards tonight that I've never had, like the 4 of Wands, until doing this no contact one. One interesting combination. Look, they're going to another house. For me, like, that's like the clouds parting and that's where they're going. Because the 6 of Swords is when you leave, okay, you leave a situation, you travel away from it. And it's with the 4 of Wands, which represents a public union. For example, a long-term relationship where you own a house, you live in that house together. Yeah, something public, something everyone's aware of. Usually married, and living together. A very established connection. Someone's leaving it or left. So you could have left them and moved out of the home, or they could have left you and moved out of the home. Which I'm sorry for you if you're going through that right now. That's very upsetting. Spirit, can I have some more clues as to why? It could be someone that you know has left their marriage or their home with their long-term partner. Yeah, there's someone else. They've left their home because there's somebody else. They possibly, realise that they've got feelings that they shouldn't have for someone else. I mean, if it's enough for you to move out of a home, I would suggest that they have developed very strong feelings for this person. And everybody's different, but normally to leave a marriage or a very, very public, excuse me, very, very public union, whether you're engaged or living together and you have a home together, that's a huge deal to leave that. So it's not just because you fancy someone, there's possibly a sense of they feel that they're in love with this person. it's enough for them to understand, like, I'm not in love with this person anymore if I am in love with someone else. Mirroring each other, self-image. Relationships reflect our wounds, introspection. Mirroring each other, self-image. I'm just trying to think of the different possibilities. Okay, so for example, relationships reflect our wounds. If somebody self-sabotages and they leave relationships over and over, it can speak to them having abandonment issues, so they leave first. Or another example would be, they grow up and, their parents divorced when they were young, so they have a disbelief in marriage or that love lasts. Mirroring each other could be that, maybe both of you are seeing someone else. It might be that you've been living in the same house, but you actually feel more like companions. You don't feel like lovers anymore. You don't behave like lovers anymore. Self-image. It could be that someone's concerned with their self-image because they don't feel that they are living up to the image of, the head of a household in the things that they've done. Or they've ruined their reputation, so they want to leave. Introspection. They might have looked within and thought, like, what am I doing? Because I need to make a decision what I'm doing here. I can't do both. I'm not quite sure that I understand the mirroring each other thing. Sometimes, you might think there's someone else, but there isn't. Someone just moves out because they're hurt, because they think that you want things to be over, so they move out because they can't cope, like, being in that house without support of loved ones. So it's like you both kind of act cold towards one another because you're calling each other's bluff, and you're like, well, I can't stand you either, or like, I mean, if you're doing that, you have got problems, haven't you? Like, if you're like acting like you don't care when you do, or I mean, it doesn't mean that it's over when someone moves out of the home, but it is a big deal, and it means that something needs facing. I mean, it's awful, but when you technically, like, sometimes people, it's, you kind of can't rectify the thing that means, you split up and you are actually in love with each other when you split up. That's very, very difficult. Someone else can also mean a family member. I have literally had someone's family cause us to break up because they didn't approve of the relationship, or they were playing games, or they just enjoyed to try to control who their son dated. That's how some individuals operate. It's how some families operate, and it's how some sons and daughters allow their parents to influence them and the decisions that they make in their life. Sometimes there's someone else, it could be like, well, I've got a really demanding boss and they need me to travel with them to go to this country, or, if you're like a PA to a politician or something and you're going to press tour with them, this is like a random example, but it doesn't mean you're having an affair with them, or like, there's a third person. This has got like a heart, hasn't it? So it suggests like there's a love triangle going on. That could be what's happened, but it could also be that, you're breaking up because someone's like, they're moving to another location, they're deciding to like put their career first or redirect, themselves where they'd anchored themselves down in this house with you. They're now going off on their own, like creating their own course, which is like horrible when people do that, because they like set out a new path for themselves, but they wipe away yours that you had planned out for yourself with them, and it is horrible. Of course, some breakups are mutual and one person ends up having to leave at some point, whether that's straight away or after a few weeks when they've got themselves somewhere to go, or the next day or whatever. Like, it's just depends, doesn't it? But yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that they've been seeing someone else, but there's a few reasons why somebody would take the very bold move, because when you do something public, you're going to have to, face everybody's questions and everybody's shock and everyone's like how they think and feel about the fact that you've moved out, because they have to process like this big change. Mirroring each other, self-image, relationships reflect our wounds, introspection. Another example is that you are over eager to move in with people and get set up and get a house together because you're afraid of being alone. So you will do that with someone who isn't right for you, or you don't take long enough to get to know them. Another example would be that you're moving in with people to find financial security for yourself, moving in together for the wrong reason because it's a good thing financially, or it could be that you were into someone else and they found out and they moved out, and now you're in no contact. I'm trying to think of like different scenarios, but it definitely says that someone's left a household. Let's get some advice. Spirit, have you got any advice for Taurus, please? Oh look, we've got a boat on this one as well. Okay, go slow and take time. So it could be that you've moved out and you're not in contact with them by choice. Yeah, like another example is you found out they cheated and you left the home. So we've got go slow and take time. Like go somewhere. It literally, oh my god, these are like so similar. Look. You know, that's leaving your troubles behind, so you get like space, don't you, and you get away from the situation, you get to neutral territory, or you know, your parents' house or a friend's house, and you just think like, I'm safe, I can think and get my head together, because you're too emotional otherwise. Cleansing waters, purification activates vibrant life force, so you know, whatever you need to do to kind of relax, you get yourself space, okay, get yourself away from the physical situation, and then do things to try to calm yourself down. And normally being in the presence of people you know care about you and are nice and calm and everything, that really helps you to like get grounded, and you know, and then do nice things for yourself. Just try. I mean, literally taking a bath or, you know, going swimming can calm down anxiety. It's so good for anxiety, swimming. It literally like controls your breathing, and you can get your head together, or you go for a walk somewhere that's really relaxing, where there's, you know, natural water sources, or you're just connecting to nature. You know, you go to a spa, like if something really awful's happened, that you definitely deserve to be treated, don't you? But mostly, like, I would say go somewhere else and be with people, like, be with people. Not necessarily large groups, but one-on-one. See a good friend, or, you know, go and stay with family, like someone who's got your back, a brother or a sister or someone. You need like, what's the word, like a refuge. And I know that sounds a bit like intense, but it's just like somewhere where, you know, it's like a little oasis, like a little island that's just for you, for literally the sole purpose of like healing, getting your head together, being calm, you know, because sometimes you can end up getting back together, and sometimes you're like, you know, that you don't want to be with that person. Like, if I was in a relationship in love and we had a home together, and I thought that someone had literally like been physical with another person, I wouldn't want them anywhere near me, and I wouldn't want to touch them ever again, and I would want to deal with them as little as possible. And that's just how I am. And I'm Taurus, I'm very possessive, and I'm very loyal, and you know, I would never ever cheat on someone that I was in love with. But sometimes, you know, people grow apart when they live together, and they have a union, you know, in contract, but it becomes that that's the only thing that's keeping them living together anymore, and that's not every case. And sometimes it's incredibly upsetting, because it just comes from nowhere that someone moves out, and sometimes it's been coming for a while and you've both been avoiding it. It's just, you know, your own circumstance, but you do need your people around you, because it's horrible. It goes to like that thing of like, you know, their family aren't your family anymore, and everyone has to go back to their original loyalties. friends have to pick, you know, like who they're gonna support out of the two of you, and it's just, if you're going through this right now, I really don't, you know, envy you. And if it's someone you're thinking of, you know, maybe you're the third party and this is someone that you're thinking of that you know could be going through this right now, yeah, I don't envy them. Like, I don't envy them. But that's the advice from me, and that's the advice from Spirit, is, you know, whether it's you or them, they need to get physical distance and, you know, do whatever to find calm and peace. You know, and that's normally like talking to someone about what you're going through. People can be great, like Taurians love, whether you're Taurus Sun or you've got Taurus placements, I particularly love being around another Taurus. They're so great to talk to and you feel so comfortable in their home. Like, yeah, great friends are like fantastic. And family, I get if you're married and you've got kids and it's like, you know, some family members will be like too outspoken, and if you need someone who's just, you'll instinctively know who to go to, won't you? Like, if you just want someone to just hear what is going through your head, what's going through your heart, to just kind of like, someone to just be a really good listener, you know? Right, I will leave it there, and I hope it helped. Alright, thanks, Taurus.